He heard the cries of cranes in the air, and saw there a heavenly messenger holding the golden decree of the Jade Emperor, which ordered him to execute in his dream the old dragon of the Jing River at precisely the 3rd quarter past the noon hour. Having thanked the heavenly grace, our Prime Minister prepared himself in his residence by bathing himself and abstaining from food. He was also sharpening his magic sword and exercising his spirit, and therefore he did not attend court. He was terribly flustered when he saw the royal officer on duty arriving with the summons. Not daring, however, to disobey the emperor's command, he had to dress quickly and follow the summons into court, kowtowing and asking for pardon before the throne. The Tang emperor said, "We pardoned indeed our worthy subject." At that time, the various ministers had not yet retired from the court, and only after Wei Zheng's arrival was the curtain drawn up for the court's dismissal. Wei Zheng alone was asked to remain. He rode the golden carriage with the emperor to enter the chamber for relaxation, where he discussed with the emperor tactics for making the empire secure and other affairs of state. When it was just about midway between the hour of the serpent and the hour of the horse, the emperor asked the royal attendants to bring out a large chess set, saying, "We shall have a game with our worthy subject." The various concubines took out the chessboard and set it on the imperial table. After expressing his gratitude, Wei Jing set out to play chess with the Tang Emperor, both of them moving the pieces step by step into positions. It was completely in accordance with the instruction of the classic of chess. The way of chess exalts discipline and caution. The most powerful pieces should remain in the center, the weakest ones at the flanks, and the less powerful ones at the corners. This is a familiar law of the chess player. The law says, "You should rather lose a piece than an advantage. When you strike on the left, you must guard your right. When you attack in the rear, you must watch your front. Only when you have a secure front will you also have a rear, and only if you have a secure rear will you maintain your front. The two ends cannot be separated, and yet both must remain flexible and not be encumbered. A broad formation should not be too loose, while a tight position should not be constricted. Rather than clinging on to save a single piece, it is better to sacrifice it in order to win. Rather than moving without purpose, it is better to remain stationary in order to be self-supportive. When your adversary outnumbers you, your first concern is to survive. When you outnumber your adversary, you must strive to exploit your force. He who knows how to win will not prolong his fight. He who is a master of positions will not engage in direct combat. He who knows how to fight will not suffer defeat. And he who knows how to lose will not panic. For chess begins with proper engagement, but ends in unexpected victory. If your enemy, even without being threatened, is bringing up his reinforcement, it is a sign of his intention to attack. If he deserts a small piece without trying to save it, he may be stalking a bigger piece. If he moves in a casual manner, he is a man without thoughts. Response without thought is the way to defeat. The classic of poetry says, "Approach with extreme caution, as if facing a deep canyon. Such is the meaning thereof." The poem says, "The chessboard's the earth. The pieces are the sky. The colors are light and dark as the whole universe. When playing reaches that skillful, subtle stage, boast and laugh with the old immortal of chess." The two of them, emperor and subject, played chess until 3/4 past the noon hour, but the game was not yet finished. Suddenly Wei Zheng put his head on the table and fell fast asleep. Taizong laughed and said, "Our worthy subject truly has worn himself out for the state and exhausted his strength on behalf of the empire. He has therefore fallen asleep in spite of himself." Taizong allowed him to sleep on and did not arouse him. In a little while, Wei Zheng awoke and prostrated himself on the ground, saying, "Your subject deserves 10,000 deaths. Your subject deserves 10,000 deaths. Just now, I lost consciousness for no reason at all. I beg your majesty's pardon for such insult against the emperor." "What insult is there?" said Taizong. "Arise. Let us forget the old game and start a new one instead. Wei Jing expressed his gratitude. As he put his hand on a piece, a loud clamor was heard outside the gate. It was occasioned by the ministers Qing Shubao and Xu Mogong, who arrived with a dragon head dripping with blood. Throwing it in front of the emperor, they said, "Your Majesty, we have seen seas turn shallow and rivers run dry, but a thing as strange as this we have never even heard of." Taizong arose with Wei Zheng and said, "Where did this thing come from?" "South of the 1,000-step corridor," replied Shubao and Mogong. "At the crossroads, this dragon head fell from the clouds. Your lowly subjects dare not withhold it from you." In alarm, the Tang emperor asked Wei Zheng, "What's the meaning of this?" Turning to kowtow to him, Wei Zheng said, "This dragon was executed just now by your subject in his dream." When the Tang emperor heard this, he was seized with fear and said, "When our worthy minister was sleeping, I did not see any movement of body or limb, nor did I perceive any scimitar or sword. How could you have executed this dragon?" Wei Zheng replied, "My lord, although my body was before my master, I left your majesty in my dream. My body before my master faced the unfinished game. With dim eyes fully closed, I left your majesty in my dream to ride the blessed cloud. With spirit most eager and alert, that dragon on the dragon execution block was bound up there by celestial hosts. Your subjects said, 'For breaking heaven's law, you are worthy of death. Now by heaven's command, I end your wretched life.' The dragon listened in grief. Your subject bestirred his spirit. The dragon listened in grief, retrieving claws and scales to await his death. Your subject bestirred his spirit, lifting robe and taking step to hold high his blade. With one loud crack the knife descended, and thus the head of the dragon fell from the sky." When Taizong heard these words, he was filled with both sadness and delight. The delight was caused by his pride in having a minister as good as Wei Zheng. If he had worthies of this kind in his court, he thought, need he worry about the security of his empire? He was saddened, however, by the fact that he had promised in his dream to save the dragon, and he had not anticipated that the creature would be killed in this manner. He had to force himself to give the order to Shubao that the dragon head be hung on display at the market, so that the populace of Chang'an might be informed. Meanwhile, he rewarded Wei Zheng, after which the various ministers dispersed. That night he returned to his palace in deep depression, for he kept remembering the dragon in the dream, crying and begging for his life. Little did he expect that the turn of events would be such that the dragon still could not escape calamity. Having thought about the matter for a long time, he became physically and mentally drained. At about the hour of the second watch, the sound of weeping was heard outside the door of the palace, and Taizong became even more fearful. He was sleeping fitfully when he saw our dragon king of the Jing River, holding his head dripping with blood in his hand, and crying in a loud voice, "Tang Taizong, give me back my life. Give me back my life. Last night, you were full of promises to save me. Why did you order a human judge in the daytime to have me executed? Come out, come out. I am going to argue this case with you before the king of the underworld." He seized Taizong and would neither let go nor desist from his protestation. Taizong could not say a word. He could only struggle until perspiration covered his entire body. Just at the moment when it seemed that nothing could separate them, fragrant clouds and colorful mists appeared from the south. A Taoist priestess came forward and waved a willow twig. That headless dragon, still mourning and weeping, left at once toward the northwest. For you see, this was none other than the Bodhisattva Guanyin, who by the decree of Buddha was seeking a scripture pilgrim in the land of the East. She was staying in the temple of the local spirit at the city of Chang'an when she heard in the night the weeping of demons and the crying of spirits. So she came specially to drive the accursed dragon away and to rescue the emperor. That dragon went directly to the court of the underworld to file suit, of which we shall say no more. We now tell you about Taizong, who, when he awoke, could only yell aloud, "Ghost! Ghost!" He so terrified the queens of 3 palaces, the concubines of 6 chambers, and the attending eunuchs that they remained sleepless for the entire night. Soon it was the 5th watch, and all the officials of the court, both civil and military, were waiting for an audience outside the gate. They waited until dawn, but the emperor did not appear, and every one of them became apprehensive and restless. Only after the sun was high in the sky did a proclamation come out saying, "We are not feeling too well. The ministers are excused from court." 5 or 6 days went by swiftly, and the various officials became so anxious that they were about to enter the court without summons and inquire after the throne. Just then, the Queen Mother gave the order to have the physician brought into the palace, and so the multitude waited at the gate of the court for some news. In a little while, the physician came out and he was questioned about the emperor's illness. "The pulse of his majesty is irregular," said the physician, "for it is weak as well as rapid. He blabbers about seeing ghosts."